All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Kyle Pitts. I'm the Director of Development here at Food Finders. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be recording this event. Let me make sure that we have that going right now. All right, so our aim today is to make this town hall a little bit more interactive. So if you are able and willing and you have access to a camera, we'd love to see your faces. And then if you have questions at any time, just feel free to speak up or raise your hand and we'll call on you that way if you're more comfortable with that. Today we'll be talking with Katy Bunder, our President and CEO, on unemployment and underemployment, as well as with Adam Meyer, our Senior Impact Director, and Amanda Estes, our Programs and Communications Coordinator. So first we'll just go ahead and talk to Katy. Hi, Katy.
There we go. Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. I want to talk to you about the unemployment rate and how it's impacting our work here at Food Finders. Preparing for this talk, I looked up the unemployment rate in Tippecanoe County and the surrounding counties, and I was a little bit disappointed because it's 4.5%, and in our entire service area, it's 3.4%. And that just doesn't sound that bad compared to what it was during the Great Recession in 2008 and 2009. But as you can see, we've had 3 of the worst weeks ever recorded in Tippecanoe County for unemployment claims in 2020. And the rate is still plenty high. So don't get me wrong, the unemployment rate in Tippecanoe County and the surrounding counties, to put it in perspective, in January of 2020, 46 people filed for unemployment in Tippecanoe County. And that number in the last week of January in 21 was 800, was over 800, and that it's an 800, it was over 400, and it's an 800% increase in the number of people filing. So it's a very significant number of people. So that explains why we are seeing so many more people needing our services. When COVID hit our counties last March, we surveyed the clients using our emergency drive-through food pantry, and found that 1/3 of the people in that drive-through pantry reported that they had never been to a food pantry before. So we're seeing a lot of new clients. When we opened our fresh market October 1st, we were surprised by the number of new clients that we were seeing. And since October 1st, we've served 2,900 new clients, plus all of the people that we had served before. So with so many new people needing food aid, why isn't that unemployment rate even higher? First, it's important to remember that the unemployment rate hovers at about double what it was a year ago. So there are more unemployed people. But secondly, according to a report from the Pew Research Center, the economic implications of COVID have hit lower income Americans much harder than they have middle income Americans or higher income Americans. Nationwide, 1 in 6 households reports getting food from a food pantry during the COVID crisis. 1 in 6 households. 4 out of 10 adults in all wage categories say that they or someone in their household has lost wages or a job during the COVID crisis. In this slide, if you can see it, note the disparity between white workers and their household lost wages or jobs, and Blacks, Hispanics, and Asians. So 38% of white workers have had someone in their household lose wages or a job. And for Blacks, it's 43%, Hispanics, 53%, and Asians, 47%. It's interesting because in the fresh market, we added an aisle of Hispanic food. We had a donor that gave us extra money for that. And we've been really patting ourselves on the back that is responsible for the increased number of Hispanic clients that we're seeing. But it may also be that 53% of Hispanics have been affected by wage loss or job loss. So the rate was also higher for younger employees, people with less education, and those with lower incomes before COVID. So let's see here. So the new clients we're serving at Food Finders, I believe, were the working poor that were just able to make it without using food pantries. One member of their household lost some hours, or one member of their household lost a job, and that put them into needing to use food pantries and get aid from us. The unemployment rate won't capture those who just lost their hours but are still employed, and it won't capture those who may have had to cut their hours to take care of their children who weren't in school, so the Pew report confirms that most workers who lost wages due to COVID-19 are still right now earning less. So this is a problem. This unemployment and underemployment issue is a problem that's not going to go anywhere quickly. 4 in 10 lower income Black and Hispanic adults have used money from their savings or their retirement accounts since COVID began. So that's going to have long-term implications for their financial well-being. It's likely to be a slow recovery for those hardest hit by the economic impacts of COVID. Feeding America has new projections for food insecurity based on COVID and the increase in the unemployment rate. They predict that in our service area, overall food insecurity will rise from 12.6% of the population in our counties to 16.4% of the population, and that is an additional 23,570 more people that are food insecure. So that is why we are facing an uphill battle at Food Finders, even though we've increased our food distribution from 9.5 million pounds in 2019 to in 2020, we distributed 13 million pounds of food.
So I thought next we could talk to Adam. So Adam is our Senior Impact Director, and he is over at our Fresh Market right now. And just want to see, Adam, if you were noticing any trends, or you could tell us more about the work over at Fresh Market.
Yeah, so I want to make sure my camera's, can everybody hear me okay? I'm not muted?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yes, as Kyle said, I'm the Senior Impact Director, and I oversee all the Fresh Market activities, as well as our resource coordination team over here. For those of you who don't know, we moved into the old Save-A-Lot location across the street from the Payless off of Greenbush. And so it's a perfect sort of space to operate a food pantry out of. I think we're really lucky to have this space. It's completely set up to run all the stuff that we're looking to do. So we have walk-in coolers and freezers. We have the ability to store produce and sort of merchandise it and really kind of push it. So if you haven't had a chance to get over here, feel free to stop by. I'd be more than happy to take anybody for a tour. To go over some of the activities that we do here, I'd like to first kind of point out sort of the information that we collect. We have a full page intake sheet that we ask every new client to fill out. We're not allowed to require that clients fill it out due to the TFAP regulations that we have to sort of stand by for getting government commodity foods. But we encourage all clients to fill this out during their first visit. And it gives us a chance to A, collect information, but also B, have a chance to sort of sit down one-on-one and talk with each person and sort of, kind of ask what brings them in here. Is it their first time having to use emergency food pantries? And then try to connect them with existing resources here in town. And so it's a perfect sort of one-stop shop for somebody who may be in a crisis or experiencing an emergency where if you don't know where to start, our resource coordination team can kind of help you take those first few steps, with the first step being getting enough food for your family and having food to kind of walk out with if you're in that particular emergency. So one of the things that I've been really surprised at after pulling some data is the clients that we're seeing, especially since we've opened up in October, was they're either they're full-time employed or they're part-time employed. So the most recent report I pulled shows about a 26% of our clients have some sort of employment. And so that just goes to show that, even when you have a full-time job or if you are working part-time, you're not making enough to sort of, fulfill all the needs that your family may be, needing. And so we have 21% of our clients that we see are either retired or disabled. So that right there just goes to show you that half of our clients, at least the half that we have data for, may be either employed or they're already retired or disabled. And so one of the things we look to do with the clients that we serve is connect them with resources like I mentioned earlier. We, since November, have a fully staffed resource coordination team. We've got 4.5 resource coordinators here who take shifts working during our open hours here at the Fresh Market. So whenever somebody comes by to pick up food, the idea is to have a resource coordinator there that they can meet with. And like I mentioned, we ask they fill out the intake form and then sit down with our resource coordinators one-on-one. It's been a little bit difficult with COVID. We're looking to make sure that we practice a lot of safety protocols and really kind of practice all the social distancing that we can. So when we first opened, I felt like we had more of an opportunity to kind of sit down. But as things got worse, as we all saw towards the end of the year last year, we were taking precautions to make sure that we were sort of limiting exposure for our staff, but also the clients that we serve. But we're trying to swing in the other direction now and try our best to meet with clients. We have tables set up in sort of an open air environment where you can sit, 6 feet apart, but still meet with somebody and discuss with them and try to help them with any type of emergency that they're seeing. So that's been one of the benefits, again, to having this Fresh Market location, is we have the space to kind of adjust and still provide the services that we're looking to provide. One of the other really cool things about having a fully staffed resource coordination team is that, again, COVID's kind of put a damper on it a little bit, but we are looking to have our resource coordination team go out into our service area. So we're still doing all of our mobile pantries. We still have a backpack program. We just started up our senior program this month. And so what we're looking to do there is raise awareness that we offer this service and then try to work with our clients to see how we can sort of meet with them, whether it's phone calls, whether it's in-person meetings. But each resource coordinator is assigned a cluster of counties that they're responsible for. And so what we want to do, and we're looking to do moving into the next few months, is to have sort of an authority figure there where the resource coordinator knows all of the resources available in their counties. In that way that each client that we serve, whether it's the mobile pantries or the backpack program or this new senior program that we're starting up, they'll be knowledgeable and be able to connect people who may be experiencing this particular situation for the very first time, help them sort of navigate the services in their area.
Awesome. And next we'll talk to Amanda. She is our programs and communication coordinator and is also a resource coordinator. She does resource coordination also at the Fresh Market. So Amanda, did you want to talk to us about anything that you're seeing and noticing when you're talking with folks?
Yeah, definitely. Good morning. I'm Amanda Estes, and I'm the half-time resource coordinator. I do some other jobs here at the food bank, but I'm here today to talk about resource coordination. So as Adam was sharing, we try to have someone out front to catch those new people when they come. We have volunteer greeters, and we can usually count on them to direct the new people to fill out as much of that intake form as they want. And then the resource coordinators typically explain how the pantry works, how often someone can visit, and then other things that we can connect them to. So a lot of people right now are interested in rent or utility assistance. Of course, with hours being cut at work, people losing their jobs. It's really hard for them to not only buy groceries for their families, but make their rent payments, pay those utility bills. So I've noticed a lot of people asking for those resources recently. A number of people have also been interested in mental health care, just, not being able to spend time with their friends and loved ones, and just kind of struggling with not being able to meet their family's basic needs, I think is playing a big part in that. And then just yesterday, I met with a person who it was his first time using the pantry. I think he's in his late 20s. He has a full-time job, doesn't make very much. His fiance isn't working right now. They live in a 2-bedroom house. Their rent is like $800. He told me that their landlord increased their rent during the pandemic, and he was just kind of like, I don't know why they would do that. Like, they know everyone's struggling. So just, some really tough situations that people are going through. But I was able to connect him with the list of local organizations we refer people to for rent and utility assistance. He said that 2 of their utility bills were in past due. So I kind of, pointed him in the direction of where he could go for that. But that's kind of an example of what I think we've all been seeing at the Fresh Market.
Amanda, did you just want to quickly highlight the education program and, talk about some of the classes that could maybe assist with unemployment or underemployment?
Yeah, so another part of my job here is the education program. I coordinate that. Of course, we've had to adjust that due to COVID. So while we were figuring out how to still serve people food, we kind of took a break from classes. So we started virtual classes in September. So we've been inviting our volunteer teachers to come in. We take video of them doing a lesson, and then we edit that and put it on our YouTube channel. And then we also share that via email and on our social channels. So we've had a number of nutrition and cooking demonstrations. We just had a really good one from Trent at Centier Bank talk about savings. And just different tips on how to save and just specifics that I thought was really useful. So that's what we've got going on there.
Awesome. And then just real quickly, I wanted to share some data with you all that just kind of highlights what we've been talking about with Katy and Adam and Amanda. Can everyone see this okay? Okay. So basically, this is from Out of Reach. They're a national low-income housing coalition. And basically it says, to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment without spending more than 30% of your income on housing, this is the amount that you should make per hour. Another way to look at that is at our current minimum wage of $7.25, to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment, you would have to work 90 hours a week. So again, that's just really highlighting the underemployment issues that a lot of the folks that we're seeing in the Fresh Market are really facing. So I just wanted to share that data with you really quickly. Does anyone have any questions for anyone on the call? You can type them in the chat or just shout them out. Oh, Rob, I think you're muted.
Yes. Do you find any of the new clients are able to spend any time volunteering at Food Finders? Do you have data on that?
Adam, do you know?
Yeah, I can take that one. That's a good question. Like we were talking about a little bit, we're seeing a lot of people who are either fully employed, like a full-time employee, or part-time employed. And so there aren't too many opportunities, I think, with that population to sort of, have them volunteer, but it's not unheard of. I think, there's been a handful of people that have come through. They've seen the work that we do at the Fresh Market, and they want to give back. And so there's been a couple of people I know that I'll recognize them, when they're volunteering, and after talking with them for a few minutes, they'll just, casually mention that, I came in here, whether it's a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, and they had such a positive experience that they wanted to be a part of that for somebody else. And so it's really nice to hear that, when you're able to have a positive impact on somebody so greatly that they're inspired to want to give back and help out as much as possible.
Yeah, the other thing, Adam, is what are the numbers, and maybe it was already mentioned, what are the numbers that you're serving at the Fresh Market that were never served by Food Finders before, so are completely new clients to Food Finders?
Yeah, Katy mentioned that at the top of the discussion. It's just over 2,900 new clients since we opened, and so that just goes to show that we're serving a lot of people that we've never served before. We use a system called Link to Feed to track visits, and we're able to pull information from that software database to show new versus existing clients. And so I think, as we first opened, we saw a huge uptick in the number of new client intake forms. But I would have never have guessed that it would have been that high after pulling that number. So it's just way higher than what I would have guessed after first opening the Fresh Market.
Rob, when I was working the drive-through pantry, because for a while there, we didn't have nearly the staff we needed for that until we got the National Guard. And lots of people were telling me that they used to donate food to Food Finders, and now they had to come and get food from Food Finders. So I thought that was really interesting. And then we did have, because we were outside, we weren't really regulating volunteers very much. So we had a lot of people that would come to drive through and then just park their car and help us load boxes into people's cars. But we're really careful about how many volunteers we let in at a single time. So you have to be pretty organized about it. You have to be able to go onto the website and sign up. So we're probably not doing everything we could to encourage our clients to volunteer, but we can do that more when we don't all have to have only 10 people at a time in the building,
Are there any other questions today about unemployment or anything else as it relates to Food Finders? Okay, well, if anyone thinks of anything, feel free to shoot us an email, give us a call. We will post this recording on our social media and potentially our website. I think Amanda can do that as well. Oh, yes, Rob.
Will you follow on with additional podcasts like this?
This is our second one. And we used to have those lunch and learn programs and give people tours. And so we're trying to replace those with this and have a topic each time. So what is it, Kyle? Every other month we're doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it every other month. So this is the second one.
Yeah, it would be helpful. I'd like to invite some others, but I just thought this morning, so I knew about it a little farther ahead of time. I know some individuals I'd like to pass.
And the last one had about 20. So I think we must not have gotten the word out quite as well this time. So we'll work on that.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for attending today, and we'll follow up and we'll make sure that you know about the next upcoming town hall. Also, if you have topic suggestions that you want to learn about, feel free to send those our way as well. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.